Hi, my name is Steve Walker from Promise Money, and this short video is aimed at anybody who is a broker or a landlord, property investor, developer, or a consumer who needs to use bridging finance but needs it really fast. Now, what I'm going to talk to you about today is potentially a side of bridging you don't know about. So hopefully, if you're educated about it, there might be occasions where you think that's what I need, and it's pretty different to what you might be used to from normal bridging. So let's just talk about very briefly what's important for most people in bridging, which are rate, costs, and probably speed and certainty. Now, my opinion on rate is it's less important because at the end of the day, bridging is a short-term facility. So if the rates are there or thereabouts, you're not going to have this product for an awful long time. So rates aren't quite as important. Costs, yes, they are, because it is a short-term product. So if you're paying money on valuations and high solicitors' costs, that's going to outstrip the rates big time. So those are really important. But for most people, speed and certainty is key. So what I want to talk to you about today is a product where potentially you don't need a valuation. Speed and certainty, big tick. Costs, big tick. Your solicitor's costs may be a lot lower or even nil. From a speed and certainty, well, solicitors, that's a real big, it's a real big element in the process. You know, it can slow things down a lot. And costs, great, if we can reduce costs there. And another cost and time issue is also around consent. If it's a second charge bridge, generally speaking, you need consent from the first mortgagee, and that can take a long time as well. And there's a small cost there. But in terms of speed and certainty, if we can cut those things out, makes a big difference. So let's just look at the standard bridging process. And it's not the same for every lender. They're all a little bit different, but you'll get an inquiry. And if you're dealing with a broker or even direct with a lender, you might get an indicative quote the same day if you're lucky. Sometimes if it's a bit more complex, it'll take a little bit longer. And then we get into the packaging process. So you're gathering information, providing it to the lender, and at some point in that process there'll be a valuation carried out. So that valuation could take a week easily. I know prior to Christmas, COVID, we're instructing a week before Christmas. Valuations are only being done now and it's nearly the end of January. So that can take a long time as well. And once you've got the valuation done, then it's going to go to an underwriter and decisions will be made there, and then some formal terms will be issued. Then we get to solicitors, and whether you've got dual rep or you're using your own solicitor and the lender's using theirs, this is where we find things grind to a halt. And without wishing to be disparaging to solicitors, we often get scenarios where one solicitor thinks one thing and another thinks another, and I wouldn't call them stubborn, but it takes a while to get that resolved. So that can take a long time. Solicitors. Right, so let me talk to you about the process that I've got in mind. Now, this is available for first and second charge loans. They are only non-regulated loans, so these aren't residential bridging loans. These are non-reg, so ideal for buy-to-let property investors. They're loans to personal individuals, not limited companies, and they are on residential property. Now, here's the scenario, and let's say it is a residential remortgage to make it as simple as possible. Resi remortgage. You might have, you're just looking to capital raise on a property you already own. So inquiry, that could be right now. Indicative terms, we'll have you talking to the lender same day, as long as the inquiry comes in at a reasonable time. You can be talking to the lender same day. Package and valuation, well, what the lender will do is they'll send you indicative terms same day. If you like them, they'll come and see you. That could be the following day, okay? When they come and see you, they're going to go through all the underwriting requirements with you at that point and talk to you, but they're going to look at the property. If they like the property and the LTV is good, they might be able to avoid a valuation. Okay, so we've saved time on the valuation. We've saved time getting from inquiry to valuation. That literally could be the next day. Underwriting, well, that's being done at the same time because the person who comes to see you is the lender, is a director of the lender. That's being done. Any conversations that need to take place, formal terms, those are done at the same time. They can take them away with them. Solicitors, they don't use them. They do it all in-house, just like a secured loan. So we could go and regularly go from inquiry, that's initial call and telephone conversation, to lender, to visit, to completion within a week. Okay, it can be done under a week. if we had to pull the stops out, it could be done in 2 or 3 days, start to finish. But it's quite common under a week. Now, if it's a purchase, for example, well then it's going to get to the stage where it goes to your solicitor to complete the purchase. But all of that lot done really, really quickly. And on the second charge, the same thing. The difference with the second charge is we might need consent, or we might need a reference. Well, if the reference is on the Equifax search, they can see it on the Equifax search. That's fine. And if there's a consent issue, they will complete on a second charge without consent. So we've saved time on consent as well. So the process is really, really slick. A standard remortgage under a week, as normal, not an exception, as normal. If it's a second charge, maybe a little bit longer, depending on whether the second charge is on the credit search and who it's with. But as I say, consent can be avoided. Now, the other thing to bear in mind on this product is they work out the LTVs a little bit differently. So a lot of bridging lenders will say, well, we'll do 65% to include all the fees. The way this lender works is they'll do 60% of the open market value, 60% of the value, to include the fees and the cost, but the interest, which is normally rolled up, is on top of that. So it's 60% plus interest, which gets you back to around about 65% LTV overall. So the LTVs are there or thereabouts. Rates, they're not the cheapest. I would say 0.95. If it's a more complex inquiry, it might be up to 1.25. But let's remember, is rate important? This is short-term money. Is rate important if you save costs on valuation, if you save costs on solicitors? And most importantly, you've got the deal done quickly. Okay? So this isn't a product for every occasion, but if you are in a hurry, it could be what's needed to get the deal done quickly, because let's face it, if you don't get the loan completed quickly, you might miss out on that deal altogether. So if you're interested in speed, certainty on bridging, great product. We love it. It's really fast. The deals get done quickly. Of course, there are lots of other alternatives. There are the more mainstream lenders that we can go to, and yes, there are cheaper rates, and yes, they'll do different things. So this is a niche product, but if you think it might suit you, do give us a call, promise money, or subscribe to our emails, and we'll update you on things changes as they change. You'll find a subscribe button somewhere on the website, or just give us a call. We take inquiries direct from consumers, we take inquiries from brokers, because other brokers come to us for these products, but we're seeing an awful lot of business from landlords and property investors as well. So something for everybody here. Great product. Add it to your armoury, and we hope to talk to you about it soon. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.